What's going on, everybody? It is a rainy day here in Texas, flooding down in Texas. So I wrapped up filming the first part of the Peterbilt rat rod. You can see it there in the background. If you haven't seen that, check that video out. Really cool project, and we finally got some tires and wheels that fit it. Shop's a disaster. I'll show you more of that here in a minute. But it's going to be one of those random project videos because as I clean, I find things. First thing I found here is this Pep Boys drift wing. This is my vintage all aluminum TAO2 with a mild brushless setup in it. Way too fast. Crashed it first time I drove it, but I like the look of it. It's my ghetto zip-tied drift car. So I thought I'd put that wing on there because why not? And I used mismatch hardware, and the wing's been apart. I've had it for a year or so, just floating around the shop. Never found a use for it. Paint's peeling off the metal brackets. It might be a little crooked. It's perfect. Yeah, this car, I think this body was an ABC Hobby body or Pandora, but I really like this car. Got the Firebrand drift tires on there right now just because I like the way the deep dish looks on them. And you can see for my first drive I broke one of the pop-up headlights, so now we just have one headlight. Typical pop-up headlight style. Hopefully we get some more practice in. Got some big things going. Videos have been kind of slow getting them out and making them, really. Trying to help my mom move and do some stuff with that. And got a lot of stuff going on at work, unfortunately. But I got to get the shop clean so I can clear my head and get out here and build some more, because I've been missing it. So that was the first little project here. Last week or week before or whenever this airs, we did the rebuild on the farm truck, and that body, that paint, we used the house paint, and it's finally actually dried, and it looks so much better now. So let's take a look at that. Hard to tell on this little screen if it's coming out, but we are starting to get some rust come through already, which is awesome. Got a little bit showing here, so I'm hoping this will come through this house paint and maybe crack it a little bit, give us some actual patina. So it's all experiment, every time I try something new, I don't know what I'm doing, just making it up. So it's got a nice layer of dirt on it from our dusty gravel drive. Got dirt thrown all over the back of it. It's very, very scale realistic to me. But yeah, I hadn't been out here all week because I've been so stressed out at work. I come out here yesterday and I was like, oh, it's faded and it looks, yeah. It's looking pretty good. Let me show you a close-up of that, if you can see. So all that gray, it looks like pencil lead. That's that iron paint. And over time, hopefully, that will just turn to rust and, yeah, come through. But I'm digging it. I think it's much improved over what we had. I still have a couple runs. Nothing big, though. I'm not worried about it. I could easily come back with some Scotch-Brite and knock that down. That was one thing I really liked with the house paint, is how easily it sanded. Compared to trying to sand spray paints, for the patina, I spend hours and hurt my back bent over the sink because I'm so tall, trying to wet sand all that stuff down. So this was real simple, real easy. Could do one in about 5 minutes. And yeah, I definitely think we'll explore more of that in the future when it comes to weathering. Maybe on this body. So I still don't know what to do with this. I got this from my buddy Dustin at 110 Rod Shop. He 3D printed it, and it's just been kind of floating around his shop as long as I've known him. So we worked out a trade deal, and I don't know. I really want to patina it. I want to do two-tone, and I started to, and I realized that all the colors I wanted to use are dried up on my rattle can. So I got a halfway good coat of red primer on it. And that's where it sits for now. The hood has no body work done. The rest of the body's been sanded pretty heavily. And it's pretty smooth. I think it's smooth enough for a patina truck. But I do have a grill for it. It would look so good on the crawler, but it also looks so good slammed. So I don't know what we're going to do yet. I don't have any ideas. The chassis I need M06 chassis. To me, a M06 chassis is the most versatile thing. And it's narrow enough for something like this. But I can't find any that aren't expensive right now. The M06 is hot because it's a rear engine, rear wheel drive, And it's, you know, the chassis plates, it's adjustable in wheelbase, and I think you can extend it even further than it's intended to be. And it would be narrow enough to tuck a big meaty tire in the front of this. And yeah, that's kind of what I see for this. Maybe these Tamiya wheels, I can't remember what size these are. They're like a 2.1 or something oddball. Those are off the CC01 lowering kit wheels and tires. But that's what I envision for this. No adjustable suspension, just low slung, big tires and wheels, patina, get all the glass in. And the way that M06 is laid out, the engine hanging off the rear, it ought to allow us some sort of interior. I'm not the best at interior stuff, but been working with the 110 Rod Shop. We could probably design up something for it, or he could design it up, and we could print it out and do something neat with it. At least get a realistic dash and some door panels and stuff in it. Bench seats. I can make bench seats pretty easy. Wrap them in some real seat covers. But if anybody out there has an M06 chassis, used or unassembled, don't need a body. I sold one a while back. It was the Volkswagen bus. I don't have any desire to try to paint a Lexan bus with all those windows. So I just let it go, and now I'm kicking myself because you can't find M06s anywhere. I actually found that one on clearance at Hobbytown. And I should have just sold the body and kept the chassis. But it is what it is. I've checked on eBay. There's a lot of M05 chassis sets. People are selling for like $75 without a body, no tires and wheels. Yeah. But anybody know where an M06 is? Comment below or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram's easier. Facebook's too difficult to try and message on there. But that's where I'm at with that. I think I was going to do... what was I going to do? I think I was going to do like my fender up there in the top and do a red and a white two-tone. Red and white or green and white. Something like that, because I like both those colors. I don't remember how I weathered those. It's been so long. But anyway, let's move on to something else. So it does kind of closely fit the SCX 10.3 Gladiator chassis. Got the front axle lined up. It's right with the front of the frame. The motor is right where it needs to be. If we took the sliders, the body mounts and stuff off, it would sit down. The rear is a little long, but I think that could be pretty easily corrected. But then again, here we are with a 67 to 72 truck on portal axles. Everybody'd be screaming, it's not true to scale. But I don't know. It does look good on the crawler. Those tires probably a little big for the wheel arches, but yeah, that's a cool body. We're going to do something neat with it. Alright, so I was going through some bins of parts and found I've got this all aluminum steering wheel here. This came off the TFL Racing Bronco. It's painted nicely. It's got a nice little steering column. The Winnebago had the stock rubber. Oh, it's been a long week. Rubber steering wheel, and it's still in good shape. I was able to remove it without breaking it. So that'll go to my spare bin of Tonka parts. Unfortunately, the Chop Toys YouTube channel I had with all the Tonka stuff has been demonetized because I quit putting stuff up for a while. I just can't maintain two channels. Oh well, it is what it is. We'll bring it back eventually when I have more time and do stuff with that. But still hanging on to all my Tonka stuff, and this will go in my spare bin. So this just mounts with a M3 bolt. It's actually bent. That's bad. So I gotta see if I can actually get under there. It fits a little bit more realistic looking. It'd be cool to do a bit more of a detailed dash in this. I'm not completely in love with my interior. I mean, it's still pretty much all the plastic stuff, and we've got broken pieces and bent stuff and all that. I added some fabric to try and make it look a little more real, but yeah. Thing is still one of my top builds of all time. It just works. It's bulletproof. It rocks. So, probably going to have a washer. That hole looks rather large. Guessing an M3, yeah, will fit right through it. So I'm going to have to find a series of washers and hope that we can get to that from the bottom since I already pulled the original one out. Alright, so that's the best angle I can get it. Hopefully we can at least get it started. And then hopefully there's enough space in that steering column to thread all of that into. Oh, this is going to be bad. I don't know if I can get my finger in there. And that's the jagged metal where I cut the floor out. Alright, now we're cooking. Let's just hope it'll tighten all the way. And that hole being so large will give us a little extra space to slide it up and down to fit with the steering wheel better, hopefully. I don't know if I'm holding the washer or I'm actually holding the screw. Afterthought. I'm not holding anything actually. Alright, so this was a stupid idea. Nothing's working. Try to just hold it with my finger, but I'm afraid we're at the end of that screw, so I gotta get a shorter screw in there. That's what it was. I had a little bit which is still stuck underneath there, and yeah. So we should have checked that before putting it in. Oh well. Custom projects are fun. I can get the wheel off of here now. Make sure the column's actually turning with it. What do y'all think of that new TRX4 with the Bronco? Might have access to one soon. Hopefully. I'm really liking the new Bronco. I'm not a big Ford guy, as most of y'all know, but the thing looks pretty cool. I think it's a good compromise between the 4Runner and a Jeep. Alright, shorter bolt. Fingers crossed. There's the steering wheel. There it is. Okay. Crisis diverted. Oh Lord, I'll never get it in there again. So yeah, I got rid of my 5th gen 4Runner after driving out to USTE this year. I was driving through the ice storms, which I know is uncommon circumstances, but every time I spent longer than an hour in it after that, it made my back hurt. I dropped the screw. Dang it. So, shake. Hey, there's that bit. Let me zoom you out so you can see what I'm wrestling with here. But yeah, I got rid of the 4Runner. It was a lease deal and I wasn't doing very good on it. It was going to be one of those the rest of your life kind of payment deals. So that's why I got the Subaru. I've had a Subaru before. I had a Crosstrek and I really liked it. But I started working with a bunch of younger fellas and I got the hots for those big new diesel pickups, which I couldn't afford a diesel. But hey look, Instagram popped up. But yeah, I got rid of the Subaru before I should have. So, I don't know why, I've seen some Outbacks here recently, the overlanding stuff I've been into, and they look pretty dang cool lifted, so got one of those, 2021. It's got cloth, you know, it's not super loaded, but it's got a lot of bells and whistles. It's got a big old screen, and does all kinds of good electronic stuff. And so far I'm loving it. Gas mileage is better than the 4Runner, but it has gone down significantly since the lift kit install. Went down about 4 miles per gallon, which kind of sucks, but alright, that is loose as a goose, and I don't know, I can't hold it anymore. I've already rubbed a hole in my finger. Let me try to get from underneath again. We'll see if we can crank on it some more. Ta-da! Through the miracles of the internet, it's in. It's not super tight, but it's tight enough, so that looks pretty cool. Looks better than the little bitty rubber one. Because in real life, this Winnebago is going to have a huge steering wheel. Everything in the 70s had a huge steering wheel. It's just what they did. So, let's see how it looks to the front. Alright, I got light in there the best I can. It's kind of cool. Looks like it's got a modern billet steering column sticking up in there. I don't have any future plans for this thing. I didn't even plan on this today. I just found that steering wheel and was like, you know what? Let's use it. This thing, I love it. I mean, the lights and everything now, it's really one of my most complete builds ever. Short of maybe some upgrades for the interior. I know 110 Rod Shop's got a lot of custom panels and things for his Winnebago. So maybe we can upgrade the interior on this a little bit with some more modern amenities, or at least some more modern panels. We could go as far as covering the walls of it with some kind of fabric or something. Keep it 70s. Get some shag walls, and who knows, get some beads for the doorways. I'm trying to think. It seemed like there was some kind of bracelet or necklace thing from when I was a kid that would make a cool bead doorway door thing. But true story, my house when I bought it, it actually had a bead doorway for the second bedroom. Very awkward. Alright guys, so it's been kind of a hodgepodge mess of a video. Before we go, I need to talk about the big red lowrider build. So this is one of the most commented on things I've had. This is I think a 1964. It was a wired remote control car, and it's called the Crusader 101. They're kind of hard to find. Found it on eBay. It was in okay shape. You see some of the chrome and stuff's pitting. It's got a nice patina to it. And I started building the chassis for it and kind of got pulled in another direction. So it's just been sitting for at least a year, if not a little more. The plan was to put one of the Pro Air RC kits on it. And if you've seen some of the later videos, we put that Pro Air kit on the Sin F450, Sin Racing Super Duty. And we have it on our Volkswagen Golf Tamiya FF01. And I had one more set left, and it is not functional. So when Pro Air RC quit making those air ride kits, he just sent me a bunch of spare parts, stuff he had sitting around, and I had a whole kit, but it is not working right. So we may have to do servo on this. So we're going to kind of look at this and brainstorm here. Not going to do any work in this video. I'm just, brainstorming. We're going to hang out and look at this thing and figure out what we can do. One thing I see that needs to happen real quick. Hold on. Well, that didn't work. Bob's a little small for this car. This is, I think it's 1/6 scale, if I remember right. These things were, it's huge. You can see in the scale garage, it's eating up some space. So Bob looked like he would fit, but he doesn't. Alright, so enough playing around. Let's get Bob back where he's supposed to be. He broke my chainsaw. So, this chassis, kind of pieced together, did some aluminum weld, things like that. This is the Kyosho Rampage drivetrain. Front suspension, it's a two-wheel drive buggy truck, basically. And yeah, we've got this kind of set up. In my mind, that was set up for the Pro Air RC kit. So I'm not exactly sure. The front, I think. The back, I think. I don't know. It's going to be difficult to adapt it to servos. Let me show you from the front here. So the entire front suspension basically just bolted on. It worked out perfect. It was going to be great to put the Pro Air struts right here, cleared under the hood. Everything was going to jive right, give us lift. Got to do some toe-in adjustments, but that's not a big deal. So I don't know, adapting that to servo. I don't have anywhere to mount a servo. Servo is going to need to be high. We're going to have to make some kind of plate off of this maybe and have servos. It would be ideal to do it with one in the front, one in the rear. There is no space in the middle. That body does have a full interior. It sets into this basket that we've made out of aluminum. So there's no way around that. That's just how it's going to be. Electronics placement, it's probably going to have to be in the trunk. Everything's going to be difficult to wire, but I don't know. The front, maybe I could put some angle aluminum. I have a small piece of that. Not handy. Off of there, maybe make a plate that mounts to the shock tower. Have a servo on each side. Links going to here, or shocks as links. So we still have some suspension movement. So maybe that's not that undoable. As far as correcting the camber, I think we just need to adjust the rods, because it's out, or not the camber, I'm sorry, the toe out, because it's spread in the front. May just have to flip the rods to the ends here on the knuckles. that might take care of all of our issues. Let's look at the rear. So the issue with this, part of the reason it's been on the shelf for a while, the Kyosho Rampage Outlaw truck is a motor on axle. And that's the reason I used it for this. One, it was affordable, ready to run. We have all the electronics for it. We can just throw this thing together and make it work. But there's nowhere to put anything. We can't have a motor in the front and drive shaft going in the back. There's just not enough room with that interior. So motor on axle sounded like a really great idea, but you can see how it's hinged. So anything that we do suspension wise is going to have to be off of this. So it's going to be a lot of fabrication, I think. The body, I don't have a way to really attach it to this chassis yet either. The interior sits snugly into this frame that we made, and that's about it. So we got to figure out a way to get that all to stay put if we're going to link we could mount servos in the trunk and have them reach down. Getting to the stock shock mounts is going to be a challenge because they are on the underside with this setting as low as it does. I did have to clearance some of the back seat on the interior to clear this when it's fully compressed. And yeah. So I don't know. I don't have any spare servos right now, of course. I think I have one. Those little cheapies from Amazon. So I need to pick up 4 more of those. And hopefully we can take a look at this again here in the future. Near future. I did want to thank somebody. I don't remember who. It's been a while. Somebody. I had this tire on this car. Mine was missing a hubcap. And it did have a spare in the trunk. And somebody actually sent me their spare. They had the hubcap. So now I have a bare tire to put in the trunk if we, well, I think I already cut the trunk out. But anyway, we have all our hubcaps now. And these tires aren't going to be great. They're hard plastic. It's basically going to be a drift car, if it's even fast enough to actually do that. But yeah, I don't remember who you were. I'm sorry. It's been so long since we did all that. But I really appreciate it. You know, every time I have something like that that's next to impossible to find, a viewer reaches out. And you guys hook me up with something or point me in the right direction. That's what's great about the platform, you know. We got people all over the world that, you know, there's always an expert in something. So, yeah, the body wasn't missing much. I have all the bumpers. I have all of the trim. I think I just set this on the dog in the back. Missing the mirror on the fender. That's not a huge deal. I can't get the body on right now, but this thing is huge. It's like 26 inches long, if I remember right. Non-opening hood. It does have an opening trunk, but like I said, I had to cut a lot of the trunk out to get the rear axle and everything up in it. The interior is really the showpiece of this. This whole thing's kind of unbranded. Oh, there's the dog. But it's very Fordish. It's very 60s Ford style. The steering wheel, the dash, it's kind of, the dash I think looks like a T-Bird of some era. There's just a lot of detail to it. I mean, we've got gauges, we've got needles, we've got a radio, we've got a shifter that moves. Not sure if you can see that. I have a dog. Seats have nice detailed backs. It's kind of dirty. It's because it's been on shelf for a while and it's from 1964. But let me show you the trunk area. But I dig the body style, and the chrome and stuff, it's got a real nice patina to it. The trunk did have a broken hinge on one side. You can see I cut the spare tire well out, as well as all of this to clear the axle and everything. So really the only place to mount a servo is going to be up underneath here. I don't want to have screws exposed, so we're going to have to do some kind of aluminum structure. I would really like to tie it to the chassis and not have it reliant on the body holding to the chassis. But I don't know. We might pursue some 3D printed options with this. But something's got to happen with it, because I still get comments on that video, and even after as long as it's been. The trunk, I'm probably not going to do the opening. It won't be hard to fix that, I don't think. I could make something for that, but the hinge part on the body is gone because of the tire hitting it. And I had a lot of people in the beginning too want to, you know, different tire, different wheel things. Nothing looks right. The only thing I found that fit kind of right was the 155 Landies. I got one somewhere, maybe. don't think I have those on anything. But the only tire that had enough rubber, it was the right height and everything, was the Mud Thrasher, which mud tire doesn't look right on a lowrider. So that's why we're rolling the stock white walls, because they're proportionate. The hubcaps and stuff are period, and the patina on the hubcaps matches the body. So my plans for the body were just to do some kind of paint and a light patina, kind of like something along the lines of the blue Hilux, something very tasteful, not overdone. Throw all the chrome that's patinaed back on, and kind of have a period look. I don't know about color. The red is good, but you just can't have that plastic look. And there's a lot of age in the plastic too, so I don't think we want to use that, because it's just very, it looks brittle. The windshield frame, most of the chrome, unfortunately, off of this one is peeled or disappeared or disintegrated over time. I don't really know how to correct that. That windshield is kind of a rubber. See, it's got some flex to it. The whole thing has quite a bit of flex to it. It's just old as the hills. So, I don't know. Any tips? Comment below on that, how to maybe restore that windshield a little bit. I don't want to try to repaint chrome. I don't want to do that, because it still has a little bit of a chrome look to it. So